Imagine serving your country in the Navy, losing a kidney, coming home, and getting shot in the face for using a bathroom. That's not a hypothetical. That happened on January 3rd, 1966. And if you've never heard his name, that's exactly the problem. Samuel Younge Jr., everyone called him Sammy, 21 years old, political science student at Tuskegee Institute, Navy veteran, civil rights worker, not a criminal, not a troublemaker, just a young black man who believed the law applied to him. January 3rd, 1966 started like any other day for Sammy. According to Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee records, he spent the afternoon registering black voters in Macon County, Alabama, doing the work democracy requires. That evening, he stopped at a Standard Oil gas station. He needed to use the restroom. The bathroom was marked, whites only. Sammy went inside anyway, not to make a scene, not to start trouble, because he needed to use a public restroom in his own country. What happened next is documented in Department of Justice files from 2011. Marvin Segrest, a 68-year-old white attendant, pulled out a pistol and told Sammy to leave. Witnesses, 6 Tuskegee students and a bus driver, watched the argument unfold. At some point, according to testimony, Sammy grabbed a golf club. The confrontation moved between the gas station and a nearby bus. Then Segrest fired. The bullet entered below Sammy's left eye at a 45-degree angle, traveled through his skull, and lodged in the back of his head. Sammy Younge Jr. died on the ground next to a taxi stand, 21 years old, shot in the face for wanting to use a bathroom. Not during a riot, not during a violent protest, not while committing a crime. He died for believing segregation no longer had the right to control where he could relieve himself. Here's where it gets worse. Marvin Segrest claimed self-defense. An all-white grand jury in Macon County initially refused to indict him. Public pressure forced an indictment months later on second-degree murder charges. But according to court records, the trial was moved to Lee County because the judge ruled Segrest couldn't get a fair trial in Macon County, where black residents outnumbered whites 2-1. On December 8, 1966, nearly a year after the killing, an all-white jury in Lee County deliberated for exactly 71 minutes. Not guilty, no conviction, no punishment, no justice. But Sammy's death didn't disappear quietly. 3 days after he was killed, on January 6, 1966, SNCC held a press conference. They issued a statement that shook the civil rights movement. They officially opposed the Vietnam War, the first major civil rights organization to take that position. Their logic was devastating and documented in historical records. The murder of Samuel Younge in Tuskegee, Alabama, is no different than the murder of peasants in Vietnam, for both Younge and the Vietnamese sought and are seeking to secure the rights guaranteed them by law. Sammy had served in the U.S. Navy from 1962 to 1964. He'd lost a kidney while serving. He'd fought abroad for freedoms he was denied at home. And when he tried to claim those freedoms, when he tried to use a public bathroom, his country let him die and let his killer walk free. Thousands marched through Tuskegee after his death. Students protested for weeks. His name is carved on the Civil Rights Memorial in Montgomery, Alabama, alongside 40 other martyrs killed between 1954 and 1968. Yet most Americans have never heard of Sammy Younge Jr. Here's what his death proved: that even after the Civil Rights Act of 1964, even after the Voting Rights Act of 1965, even after laws changed on paper, a black man in uniform, a black veteran who'd served his country, could still be murdered for using the wrong bathroom. And the system would call it justice when his killer went free. Sammy's father, Samuel Younge Sr., said this about his son's death, and it's documented in historical archives. This is an era of social revolution. In such revolutions, individuals sacrifice their lives. Sammy Younge Jr. shouldn't have had to sacrifice anything. He'd already given a kidney serving in the Navy. All he wanted was to use a restroom. If this is the first time you're hearing his name, ask yourself why. How many Sammy Younges had to die quietly for progress to look peaceful? Comment his name below. Share this so his death isn't forgotten. And follow for the stories that don't make it into textbooks, because history remembers the powerful, but we remember the forgotten.